we go. Okay. Entire lifetime, haven for days, great escape, lost track of time and space. She's a silver lining, climbing on my design. How am I here? Know where I wanna be, and satisfaction feels like a distant memory. And I can't help myself, oh, all I wanna say is, are you mine? Are you mine? Oh, Girl, wait, can someone tell me the truth? Did it just refresh my whole Pinterest? It's refreshed my whole Pinterest, bro. Okay, I wouldn't have a problem with this, but it's just the fact that there's now pins above me that, well, not above in the screen that I haven't seen. Above in the screen that I haven't seen. Nobody buys 5 dozen eggs like Gaston. Bro. Someone could make a Wattpad about Gaston. Like, he's a misogynist, but probably the least bad one there is that exists. Yo. Reasons to be a mermaid: no period, no pants, perfect hair. You get to lure men to their death. Free clam bra. No period, no pants. This. What the fuck is going on with my Pinterest? Alright, I literally started. The pen is the tongue of the soul. I started this video to sing Are You Mine? Because I kept singing it and it sounded so nice. Aww. My Pinterest has changed so much in these past few months. What does that mean? There's like these like Vietnam lighters too. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's this picture of this little girl hugging Jesus and crying with like her little hand on his chest. And it just reminds me of church. Like, they would show the most horrifying videos. Like, not horrifying videos, but like horrifying, like in the way of like traumatic. Like, I remember being in youth group when I was like 6, 7, no, probably well, like probably 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And they would show like these movies where it would literally be like it would show like Jesus like literally like struggling and falling down with the cross, and it's just like, I'm a kid, bro. And then it's like okay, I get it, because like that's the whole point of like the religion, like that's like the climax of the story, like, you know what I mean? That's why everyone wears crosses whenever they believe in that. it's just like, damn, you know what I mean? It's just that just the pictures remind me like, but they tell those things to kids, like they tell the gruesome details of a murder, of a martyr story in a world, and especially inside of a religion that oftentimes makes martyrs out of lots of fucking, like lots of people. The slave dungeons in Ghana that they use to try and break black people's spirits. There's like a big thing where like you would like die if you were not Christian or something like that in like Spain or some shit. Burning crosses in people's yards, like the Ku Klux Klan burning crosses in people's yards. Just all that. I don't know. It's just sad, and it's such a contradiction. Like I think that's why it made me sad, because especially sad, like because we know that like in our DNA, like we know that like this religion has been taken and twisted and formed into this sword instead of a flower. Misbehaving for days, great escape, lost track of time and space. It's a silver lining climbing. I wish Pinterest has something where you can pin a pin you made to the top of your post, like a TikTok. I agree. Okay, and also like, okay, not everything needs to be in my chic pile. Like, can we? But I need to make more. I need to make more. I guess I could save it to my profile. Okay, I guess I didn't refresh my whole feed. Thanks for that, I guess, Pinterest. Yeah. Okay. What? But there's some new ones, I think, but I guess not. No, look at this picture that I saw. Let me show you. Lost track of time and space. She's a silver lining, climbing on my desiring. This reminded me of Rastafarianism, like a literal picture of it. But also, like, Rastafarianism in the way that, girl, what is going on over here? Is that a part of a show? It reminded me of the way that I felt whenever I first saw Rastafarianism, because I was in that, like, I first watched a video about it, I think, like, in the beginning, like, around, like, this time last year, maybe, or, like, whenever it was getting, like, warmer, and I was thinking about me, because I stopped going to school, like, at, like, in like my sophomore year of high school. Like I stopped going, and like I got sent to like alternative, and I barely went to alternative basically. And I just like was thinking about that, and like was like grieving that a little bit, because like it's so hyped up to go to school, especially in America. Like specifically like to me, like in America it is very hyped up, like it is very like nostalgic and da 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 and all that stuff. And I was really sad about the fact that I didn't go, and I was like grieving that. And I was even thinking, I was like, but I couldn't go back because like I was 19, but like I wasn't held back, and I actually graduated. I have my diploma and I started college, so like I couldn't just go back to high school, and I didn't want to go back to high school. I just, you know, I thought, well, how, like, would I, like, and even, like, I knew, like, you know what I mean? Because I was like, well, even if I had the choice to go back, I already chose multiple hundreds and thousands of days I chose that I didn't like it and I didn't want to go. And maybe not thousands, but like at least 1,000 days I spent crying and begging. That cannot be true, but it feels so true. 365 days, but you don't go on the weekends, and you don't go on Christmas, and you don't go during spring break, and you don't go during the summer. So like at least like 500 days, if I had to guess, I spent literally bawling my eyes out, crying, begging not to go, or literally just like going to a different city or going to one of my friend's house and hiding for like weeks so I didn't have to go to school. And so like I made my decision, and it's like it's also understandable because it's like, and I'm seeing these like Vietnam lighters. Like this one says, "Too young to vote, but not too young to die. Too young to love, but too old to cry." And then there's another one that I saw. It says "Why me?" and then it has a peace symbol carved in the middle of it. And it's just that, and that reminds me of this conversation that I had with people that I was doing my internship with. They were talking about the draft, and they asked, like, they were like, would you dodge the draft? Like, how much money would you, wait, I don't even think that, they were just like, I don't know how it started, but like, I was like, there's no amount of money that you could pay me to go to war. Like, what the fuck? Like, yes, I'd be dodging that shit. Like, what the fuck do you actually mean? And this reminds me, like, of, like, the fact that, like, is school not a draft? You could die there. You could have to fight for your fucking life there. And you're forced to go there. Like, is that not a draft? And the reason why it reminds me of Rastafari, like why I feel connected to that is because I believe that Rastafarianism, the way that they speak about it in Jamaica, in the video that I watched, they were like, you know, we make our money, but then we like dip out of Babylon, like Babylon, bro. And then I got this mental image of like all these like rats just running, and I feel like my teenage years I just decided to stop running. Like, even though I was pussed and I had to run from other things, I stopped running towards the big ass cheese that was a hologram. She's silver lining, climbing on my desire. Hold on. And school is a part of an indoctrination ritual. I need to post those YouTube videos, but maybe I won't. I don't know. But I made like 3 YouTube videos where I was talking about how I feel like school, I feel like the reason why cults even exist is because America is a cult. You know, like not even just America, but money is a cult because it is a benign way of living to the natural order of things as an animal. And if you were to ask a bear to do taxes, the bear would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, I'm going to like either eat you or you're gonna get out of my face and I'm gonna go eat some fucking salmon." Like, the fact that you can't just exist without paying is colonialism. It is a hologram, and I feel like people, the reason why people think that it's a simulation, or why people think that it's a simulation, is because it is. Like, these walls around me are a simulation, not in the fact that they aren't physically real, but the fact that they aren't mentally real. They're not ideologically sound, they're benign. You know what I mean? And it can turn cancerous, like, if you don't step out of that. And it's like, and that's like kind of what I think about too. It's like, if I had kept going to school, and then maybe I would have kept going to college, and I would have lived a life that wasn't fucking real. Like, yeah, anyway. Not and then every time I see ads or anything of like people living in a house, like a Geico ad or an Intuit text. Intuit, I saw what you freaking did. I read the whole Intuit, H&R Block, and then one other thing on Open Secrets, how they lobbied the shit out of these governments, which lobbying is so, and it's like, hologram, bro, hologram. How the fuck can people pay for what other people that we voted for, well, not I said the fucking fly, but people that older than me voted for, because I don't vote, so I don't even know, but what I'm saying is, it's a cult ritual, bro. It is a cult ritual. It is like, if you send your prayers, then maybe something good will happen. Like, girl, fuck you. What the fuck? Like no. Like, it's like literally the fucking prayer box in church. It's like, put in your prayers. Maybe Jesus will answer you. You'll get your fucking rights this year. Maybe wars will stop overseas with your tax dollars. Wars. And then it's like, and then they talk about how like taxation without representation. Girl, fuck you and your taxes. First of all, fuck your taxes, because you guys allow yourself to be lobbied $42 million fucking dollars from Intuit, 43 something fucking million dollars from like H&R Block or some shit, just to keep the IRS from making a free filing service. And yes, there is a free filing service, but it's like, if only if you like make under a certain amount. It's like, how the fuck does that make any fucking sense? You will go to jail if you don't do taxes, but yet, which is crazy enough as it is, because it's like, fuck you and your taxes. Like, you use taxes for genocide. Fuck you. Like, and they don't even ask about it. They don't even ask about it. Do you know how much fucking money goes to Israel? Do you know? Billions, bro, billions. With that money, they could build houses for literally every single homeless person in this country, bro. Like, it is fucking mental. It is a holographic fucking cheese. And then even the people who are inside of this big ass holographic cheese don't even get to eat the cheese because it's fucking pixels, and they just stew and rot. Because there's no fucking cheese to be had, bro. And so they're starving spiritually, but they're like, well, I'm in the fucking cheese. I'm in the fucking cheese. No, you're not in the fucking cheese. You're in a lie. You're in a hologram. You're in pixels. Get out of there. You're in the simulation, bro. Take the red pill. Get out of there. Go back to Mother Nature. Be kind to yourself. Anyway, I am not under a red pillar, but I just think that that's funny, because it's like, all these like racist or misogynistic people, Andrew Tate, like talking about red pill, but it's like, are y'all not in the middle, directly sitting square on a square of a piece of cheese that you can't even eat because it's not even real. It's plastic. It's hot as fuck in there. It's plastic and it's a hologram at the same time. And I know that seems like it doesn't make sense, but it does for the analogy. Okay? Either way, it's not real food. Especially, it's not food for the soul. Like, it's... And then sometimes I just feel like I'm going... It's okay, though. It's okay. It's just because it's another cult thing, bro. Like, for people to be like, oh, like, make money. You make money, bro. Go get your fucking paint, bro. Go paint me $1, but, like, money is not real, like, at all. It's literally a trick. Like, really bad. And you know what else I was thinking about? Is the devil. And I've talked about this on my TikTok actually, where I feel like something shady went on whenever they were translating the Bible to make it seem like the devil not only was the doing of a woman, but to make women the focal point, like witches, sirens, of what people deem as demonic entities. And I think that there is a big difference because the devil, in my mind, is an angel too. I was just watching House on the Bayou, actually, and I thought that was really fucking cool because I personally think that they fucking lied. They changed the Bible because I think the devil is someone who doesn't just thrive or want you to do bad things. No, they want to fuck you up whenever you do bad things. And I just think that's so badass, and people lied about that shit. And I do believe energy gets stored and evil shit exists like because it rots. But I also believe those things can heal, and I especially believe whenever the earth heals and whenever we heal as a collective and detach from money and fucking concrete, those things will also go back. Like the fucking heart of Tafiti, bro. It is exactly like that in my mind. Like, anyway, let's sing. Let's sing. Imagine I had two little mini cymbals. Ding. Okay, anyway. That's just how I'm feeling, and I'm just glad I got to say that because I made videos talking about Intuit, talking about other things that I talked about in this video. But yeah, I'm just glad to be talking about it, I guess. Not I guess, but like I know. Also, I feel like something bad happened with T-Mobile. I don't know. I feel like something is suspicious there. And then Burger King, let me just talk. Let's level. First of all, you're on the boycott list. Let's fucking fix that shit. Second of all, because they handed out a bunch of like free burgers. And I understand that's like a choice about on their like, but like if they were handing out free burgers to like Al Qaeda, which I don't know who the fuck Al Qaeda is, I don't know what they're about, I don't know the true fucking tea. I've never done a deep dive on Al Qaeda. I'm just saying it is the first known quote unquote terror group that I know. I don't know shit about Al Qaeda, but I do have a very strong feeling that a lot of the terrorist groups that we know of as Americans were made up so that people could go to war, that for money and oil, and to just keep that shit going on, because how else would they convince you that they should just be able to go inside in some it's like there's a bunch of diamonds in someone else's house, and the government's like, well, bro, we really like they really want those, like the government really wants those diamonds, and so but they can't just break into a house because people will be like, oh, that's fucking weird as fuck. But if the government's like, well, but those people, they definitely like have a bomb for sure, like they have a bomb, then people are like, oh my god, like get the bomb. And so they go into the house, duh, there's no fucking bomb, but then they're able to take all the jewels and then plant the bomb and then arrest the people so that they can just get what the fuck they want. Like the government has done that many fucking times before. Like what do you think the CIA does? Like anyway, anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about Al Qaeda. I don't know. It's just fuck them for real. And this is irritating because it's like, y'all are sorry. I don't want to call people dumb, but like you just like why? I feel like the only thing the government does is make bombs and experiment on people with shit like Neuralink, how to make people be able to stay up for like days on end, like how to make the perfect fucking soldier. Like, can y'all wake the fuck up? Like, you're in the Truman Show. I hate to fucking tell you this shit, but everything that has led up to whatever the fuck that shenanigan shit is a lie. Like, anyway. Why was I talking about Al Qaeda? Didn't I have a point there? Maybe I got to the point in a roundabout way. What is gout? Ew, I just fucking hate suburban. It's like, it's literally bringing a tear to my eye. I hate suburbanism. I hate the fucking American dream. And you know what I don't like? Sorry, I don't, well, yes, for me, hate means, like, that shit is extremely, abrasive. Like, it is so unnatural. It raises primal instincts inside of me that's like, that's fucking dangerous. Like, fuck you. Sorry. Not, well, you get my point. Like, get away from me. Like, you know what I mean? And that's how I feel every single time I see a fucking house. Or I see medication. Let me talk my shit again. No, so I saw this ad for, so let me talk. So I used to be on a lot of mental health medications because I never went to school. Ergo, I had a JO because of truancy. So, but I also eventually like started getting drug tested because I was on official probation. I had to go to court every week because I was also drinking, and they found that out whenever they would do my drug test. And me and my friend will also go out driving with our mommy's cars whenever we were like 14 and 15 anyway. But my main reason for like being brought in was for not going to school. And when, what was I talking about? Wait, pause. I was, it's too late. There's a silver lining climbing on my desire. Wait, it's too late. Lone Ranger riding through an open space. And my mind when she's not right there beside me, I go crazy, cause here is where I wanna be. And satisfaction feels like a distant memory, and I can't help myself alive. All I wanna hear is, all I wanna hear is, all I wanna hear is say, are you mine? Are you mine? Oh, draft. If you don't go to school, they'll put you on probation. And you might be like, okay, well, but you were also stealing cars and you were drinking. Okay, but let me talk my shit really quick again. They were threatening to send me to DYS specifically for not going to school. And let me talk my shit further. Whenever I was in elementary school, before I even had a sip of alcohol ever in my life, I had to meet with the truancy officer because I was not going to school like at all. I would argue and cry and not get out of bed. So that ass, like they will put you on probation if you don't go to school. Draft, bro. And then you become a ward of the state. Well, I didn't become a ward of the state, but I was, probation is, I'd assume kind of similar to parole because they dead ass like, and I literally got an ankle monitor because I went to St. Louis one day instead of going to school. Like, that was literally, like, I went to St. Louis, I was gonna go to IKEA, and then I was gonna go to the zoo. I didn't even get to go to those things because someone called the cops. The school probably had to call my jail or some shit, but then we came home and I had to get an ankle monitor. I had to go to rehab to prove that I was doing different. Oh, medication. Yeah, I used to be on a lot of medication. Just to, like, prove that like I was getting better. And at first I actually did, like, I was going through a lot, like, internally too. Like, I was really sad and anxious and like just really fucking upset. Like genuinely at like the entire world. Like, I was self-harming. I had suicidal ideation all the time. I would think about it all the time, but I didn't want to actually die. I just wanted it out. And so I was on a lot of medication. I was actually really, really happy at first whenever I got like my official diagnosis at 16, like the 500 questions or whatever. And at one point I was on like 4 different medications, but the thing that I noticed and that actually off-put me, because I was on medication for like 4 years, right? Like I stopped taking medication whenever I was around 17, 18. So maybe not 4 years. How old was I when I got diagnosed? No, I was diagnosed when I was like 15, because I went to rehab whenever I was 16, and I was already like deep into fucking medication whenever I went to rehab. So most likely I got diagnosed when I was like just turning 15, or early on in 15, because I was on medication for quite some time. And something else I want to talk about was something I talked about in one of my other videos that I didn't post was, every time I would go to the psychiatry office, like I would like she would be asking me like, okay, well, how is your anxiety, how is this, how is that, but it's like as soon as I would enter that building, it's like I don't, like, it's like I was living in that exact moment, and it's like I couldn't access any of my feelings. Like I didn't feel good at all. Like I just felt suspended, like I was in the sunken place, but emotionally and sometimes physically. Like it felt like I was just going through the motions. Like I'm alive, so the medication is doing that, like I guess, like, but um the thing that off put me about medication is that I started feeling it in my nerves, and I noticed that I was like, well, yeah, like this is literally affecting my brain. Like this is like changing my brain chemicals. Whenever sometimes I would be, and I was on quite a lot, and I'm not trying to shit on medication. I'm just saying like lobotomies were not that fucking long ago, so that's just like kind of how I feel about it. It's like, well, they were just fucking doing lobotomy, so why the fuck am I taking this shit? Like, they're just like literally playing around in my brain, like change. Like I had gone through like, oh my gosh, like probably like 6 or 7 different medications, like, and at one point I was on like 4. I had my medication changed like 4 times in 1 year, and um I think that was the year that I went to rehab too. But anyway, um yeah, sometimes I would feel my nerves, and like it would feel like, like whenever there's like this like film on milk, it would feel like someone was taking every single nerve in my body, and they were taking that film, and they were going like this, and they were just taking it away, and then they went, you can have that back now. Like it was just and that would this happened sometimes, and I was just like, this cannot be good for me. This cannot be good for me. So I just quit cold turkey, which you shouldn't do because you could like die or something, I don't fucking know. But I was already, I don't know, but anyway, don't do that. But I just, what I felt like, okay, literally don't take my advice because they're playing in your brain. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Sorry. Do what feels right for you. This is for people who relate to my situation only, bro. And go to therapy, bro. Like if you're like on medication because you like stalk people, or because you like want to kill people, like, bro, please go to therapy and heal that inner child. If you are on medication for like being sad and stuff, like, go to therapy. Like, talk to your therapist. Like, I am literally just talking about how I felt, my experience. But please, like, just take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. And don't do shit that can like cause you like permanent nerve damage or whatever the fuck the side effects are to just stopping 4 fucking different medications cold turkey. And it wasn't completely cold turkey. I mean, I wouldn't take it sometimes, like towards the end of it, like I just like stop taking it like all the time. Like I'd take it like sometimes. But yeah. So I kind of just like weaned it off myself, but like don't do that. Like I also gave myself my own tattoos, but like your hand could fucking fall off if you did the same shit. Like just don't, like, do you see what I'm saying? Oh my god. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I feel like that was a good little analogy because, like, yeah, that ass, like, you get an infection, don't tattoo yourself, don't, anyway, but yeah, and I didn't have schizophrenia, so, like, I don't know about stuff like that, like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just trying to talk about my experience, but I also don't want people to, like, be out there unsafe. Just the way that I felt, it just felt like they were dead ass playing in my brain, like, and and I think it mainly, like, it's mainly just also, like, people are depressed. Like, I saw this this pin on Pinterest that was like, you don't hate Mondays, you hate capitalism. Like, exactly. Like, you're like, I feel like most people aren't sad or depressed or even, like, apathetic, like things like psychopathy. Like, the people don't just naturally experience those things. Like, those are symptoms of a greater problem that are being treated with a band-aid over a bullet wound, like, in my opinion. Like, and that's what I feel like medication is. The ad that I saw, medication, the ad that I saw, and instead of, like, plants and herbs and actually being safe in your body, I also saw this other thing that was like, growing up in foster care literally gives you the same levels of, like, PTSD as going, like, as an active war zone. And it's like, well, what are the, like, I feel like the chances of that being the case with, like, people who are aware of, like, a school shooting is not a natural disaster. Like, people who, like, make that distinction in their body and go to school, like, it's probably the same exact thing for them. And it is probably the same thing for literally everyone else in just existing within a money system and believing that cult ideology that, no, yeah, you should pay to exist. Like, you should, like telling people that they should prove their worthiness to survive, to live, to be alive. Like, that is what money is. It is saying, do this for someone you don't know most of the time, with things like, like, most office jobs, even medical professionals, it's like, in many different ways, like, in certain practices, like, that are outdated or not really incorporated with the natural remedies that the earth has to offer. Like, that should be the forefront of all healing practices, is the earth. We are of the earth, and that is the thing about Christianity. It's like, I feel like and, like, just, like, in general, like, the mindset of taking other people's land and then being like, okay, now you have to knock on my door now. Like, but, like, it was, like, never your house. Like, that whole thing, it's literally insanity. Like, and I think that anyway, I just think that the forefront of healing practices should be to making the body feel safe because it is actually safe, and not because it is suspended in a pool of dark matter and can't fucking feel anything at all because of some random ass medication that's not really real, that just looks at one thing. And then I was thinking about this analogy, like, imagine, like the brain is like this, like what's wrong is, like, this is, like, what they see as what's wrong, like, just like this and this down there. But what's actually like they don't see the full picture because they're looking at it as a 2D object whenever it's a whole experience. Like, people are sad because they're not free. Duh. Anyway, people are sick because they're not free. And I think once healthcare providers start to acknowledge that, instead of saying coping mechanisms for slavery, and actually being like, no, this is fucked up. This is what we should do. Like, I'm gonna build a garden, you come by and help, and we're gonna make it to where we can eat for free. That's real fucking healing. That's the medicine. Okay. Have myself away. All I wanna say is, are you mine? Are you mine? And I feel like the shame around sex is not wanting people to release. Because you have to be really comfortable in order to do so. And that is the antithesis of what lies require. Believing lies requires. Because everybody knows, like, when someone is lying to them, like, it's a feeling. When the situation is a lie. Can we sing Take Me to Church? Wait, what song? Drag path etched in the surface as evidence. I left there on purpose to satisfy. Drag path left here on purpose as evidence. Can you? Y'all, the music video for that is really beautiful. The one that 21 Pilots just released. It's how it feels. Like, that's what happened. Like, they took away people from their families. They killed billions over time just to and then now here we are years later, told that we just were pulled out of a hat. Mentally, physically, that is what we're told by the everyday mundaneness, by the fake ass walls. Pulled out of a hat. Just go with it. It's magic. It's God. Work. Listen to your mother and father whenever they tell you to work, to go to school. Put your hand over your heart and pledge your allegiance to this country. a lie. It's an entity. Do you remember that Sam and Dean episode where they went to this place and I can't even remember if there was an actual monster, but just something about the area, like if you just believed something for like long enough, like for example, like Dean's hand got all hairy because like I guess that used to be a thing, like if you masturbate too much your hand will get hairy, and his hand actually got hairy. I don't know, that just reminded me of that, like of like the entity, like or like there are some like creepypasta things where it's like if you give something enough power it might just become real, and that's what people did with like America and patriotism and the idea that there's an innocent side to a war. Anyway, when I say war, I mean for example the Civil War, but the war, and just because one side is a little bit more helpful doesn't make it better. You know what I mean? Like it's like Republicans and Democrats. You know what I mean with like Union and Confederate? It's like, yeah, one side is outwardly racist, but the other side is silently racist. And racism, like and racist in the way of like you like don't care about anyone but the race of the faces that you see on a day-to-day basis. Because Democrats still spend billions on making sure that Israel is armed to the teeth as they commit genocide. Democrats, like, none of them have real power other than to just keep feeding coal into the machine. Like, none of them are the machine. None of them can just become Thomas the fucking Train. Like, they just keep feeding it, and people think that they have power just because they're the ones who put the coals in there, I guess. But yeah, whenever I say war, just know I'm not talking about Palestine. And earlier, whenever I alluded to war, is like because that's what they call it, like war with a wink, because it's like they know. But anyway, they know it's not a war. Like, it's disgusting. And then people. And those same people say like they're Christian. And it's like just weird as fuck, I guess. Because it's like, what the fuck are you, like, how do you. I don't know. just, or claim that they're a faith. But like, you would have to worship death itself in the most demented way in order to do that. Like, you don't worship anything good. It's just fucking creepy, like, whenever you really think about it, because all these people, like Trump, Catholic, Benjamin Netanyahu, Jewish, I think, probably. Israel was like the Jewish state, so like that's their whole fucking thing. So like I'd imagine that he's Jewish if he's still. Yeah, whatever. I don't even want to really look him up because I can infer that that's probably true. Like, you get the point. Like, but it's like, y'all are like, what the fuck? Like, y'all are fucking freaky as fuck. Like, and not in like not like a cutesy, oh that's freaky. Like not I'm like, oh that's scary. No, like it's like a just I want to make a movie so bad, guys. I want to make a movie about but I don't. But basically, if you don't follow me on TikTok, this would basically be my movie. But I've talked about it more on there too. Okay, so basically, so this guy is pulled over, and I don't know what his race would be. You know what? I just came to my mind. He could be white at first, like the first time we see the guy, and he's like, or he could be black. Okay. So he's black, a black man, and he's like begging. He's like, I gave you my license, I gave you everything. Like, what else do you want from me? Like, I complied. Like, what do you want? And he's sitting inside of his car, and there's rain pouring down, and they're like next to like this like sloshing bayou, and it's blue hour. The police officer stands there with his vest, and he stops his hand on the thing, and he smears it down. He's like, I want you. And then the police officer shoots himself, and we pan back, and the guy in the car is white. Another police officer, the partner of the police officer who, all the police officers are white in this scene. It shows to another police officer who's like watching this like red pill podcast on his phone, like sideways, like horizontal, and he's just watching it. And then he looks up whenever he sees that his partner is now laying dead on the ground after he just shot himself, and he sighs, clicks off his phone, looks very fucking annoyed, like just like runs a hand down his face. He's like mad as fuck, but he's not like freaking out, he's just like. And then he gets out of the car, he slams the door, and he walks around the hood of the car. He goes and he stands, like he like walks over his partner's body, not even giving him a glance. He's just irritated that he has to like, well, that he feels like he has to do this, like he has to like that he had to get out of the car basically. And then he looks to the guy who is now black again, but a different black guy. And the guy's like, I don't know what the fuck happened. And the police officer just pulls his gun and shoots the guy in the car. and then he spares a glance to his co-officer, and he just rolls his eyes and then walks right back over his body. Wait, and then like just like gets his keys and then walks right back over his body, and then gets in the car and slams the door shut. He turns on the ignition. Now this is where there's varies, okay? He turns on the ignition, and this is like the changing race is like new. Like that's not something I talked about on my TikTok. That's just something that like, but like this is like where it varies. So he could either go home, like he turned on his ignition, and then we watch him, like we were literally like in the car with him, like for like 15 minutes of silence, just like watching this man just apathetic as fuck, just like driving home, like specifically in one angle. So like we see him like turning on the radio. It's a song, it's a Christian song. He turns that shit back down. And then he gets home, he opens the door, he slams it, and he walks in, and his wife is in there. It's a yellow lit home, and it's like 50s, like clearly like 50s grandma, like a 50s woman, like grown up grandma, but the woman is not old. She just it's just that style house. A yellow lighting, the plastic vinyl over the dining table where she sat sewing up one of his uniforms that had ripped. She says hello. He says, "Fuck you, cunt." And then he walks into the room with his kids, where his kids are playing. She doesn't even like, she's just like, or maybe she's like, oh no, she's probably, I think she was meant to be like, do you have anything else I need to sew for you? Just like apathetic, but a little bit apathetic in the way that the white women from them are in the first season. At first, before they really start like going fucking crazy. So then, and he just doesn't even reply to her. And then he crosses through a doorway that has a cross over it, like a wooden cross, into where his kids are playing. They're playing with like Barbies or some shit. And he starts being extremely fucking nice to them. Like, you would have thought dad of the fucking year. Like, if it had opened on this scene, would have been like, oh my god, like he's the dad who dies in the fucking Disney movie. Like, that type of shit. Like, really just like laughing and funny and all that shit. Okay. And then yeah. That's kind of how I felt about the house scene. And I think it would be interesting to do dual, I guess, because then, you know what else I was thinking about? Okay, and then you could do this, and then you could do this. So like, one of the kids drops a Barbie. It takes us back to whenever he slammed the door, and it shows us his hand on the key, and he turns it, and then it flips to like a bunch of like college age kids turning on their like Jeep that has like no roof, and it's like sunny and blue, and blue, like bright blue skies and like vibrant colors now, and they're like, come on, you got the surfboard, like all that stuff, and they're about to go on this road trip, and then they go to this like small coastal town, and I think it'd be interesting to be like, this is so cool, like this is so cool, like something like people like going to Outer Banks in real life, that type of shit. Like they're going to like somewhere that they saw online, but it like actually exists, and so they're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have such a fucking good like surfarana summer, or crushed cans summer. Yeah, and the show's about like these kids, and they get into like a lot of trouble, but they just randomly like, they have this thing on their island where if you like crush cans, they get into trouble because like they like discover something that like they weren't meant to know, and like it's like this whole fucking big thing, and they like did all that stuff, Scooby-Doo, like Outer Banks, like the whole 9 yards, like that type of thing. But randomly, like like for example, like say they're like getting this guy, and like they meet him up for lunch, and then they're like, so what all do you know? And then whenever they figured out, they're like, okay, but can we also have that can? And then the guy's like, yeah. And then they take the can, and then one of them crushes it in their Vans, and then we're so fucking close to getting that. What's something? So say each can is worth like 5 cents. So they're close to something that would have taken thousands of cans. Okay, they're so close to like da da da. And then they're like, yes, yes. But they're also like, oh my god, like, what are we gonna do about like the mayor's brother? So yeah, so they're about to like, oh my god, this is gonna be so fucking crushed cans. Like, I wonder if there's some actual real shit. Like, we're gonna fucking solve it. Like, huh? Like, what the fuck? And so they start driving. Like, they all throw their bags in. They start driving. Then this would be so cool. Like, I think then they get there, they have fun, and then they discover an actual mystery. And the way that they come upon it is like, oh, like, what the fuck? Like, wait, like, so they start crushing cans, right? Because in the town they actually started having a thing where you could turn in your crushed cans for 1 cent. And they're like, okay, well, we could buy something cool with this by the time we leave at the end of the summer. And like we could buy something probably like something like cool souvenir or some t-shirts or something with the money that we earn from crushed cans. They surf, they have fun. But then they realize something. It's kind of like an all-white town. And whenever they realize that, the color grading goes darker. They end up being invited back to dinner by this random family who saw them crushing cans and thought that that was so neat. And sitting around the dinner table, the woman starts to ask the woman who's like, that's so neat, and invited them back to dinner. She starts to ask, why do they think they're black? And this like college age like black guy, like there's like probably like an Asian girl, both like an Indian Asian girl and like um like an Aboriginal, is that a Japanese woman, like all types of people, like, but like none of them are white, like purely. Black women, black men, non-binary people, like that kind, like just like a group of college kids, and but who are like not white, who don't look white, and who are not white, like Caucasian. They're not Caucasian, like they have like different ethnicities. So the woman's like, why do you think that you're black? And then there's like this like just in my mind, this is like what I'm saying. There's this like taller, like kind of like skinnier guy with like glasses and like his haircut kind of short or an afro, whatever, doesn't matter. But like he's like, what do you mean? And but like it could be literally whatever. Like I'm just saying like this is like an outline, but like whoever, like it's about who the role like it's about like the vibes, like not about the way that someone specifically looks other than them not being Caucasian. You know what I mean? But it could end up being like someone who looks completely different than the description I just said, basically is what I'm trying to say. But he's just like, what do you mean by that? And then the woman's like, she fucking glitches out. She's like, I don't know what she should say, but I just remember this being that there's just being this part of like them being invited over to dinner, and then they literally like the family around them just starts like banging their fucking heads on the table because they're like insane, but also because they're racist, and like being like, answer me, answer me, answer me, answer me, and then the kids are like, what the fuck, like what the fuck, like. And then they just get up and leave. And they don't get stopped. They actually are able to leave. And they're like, holy fucking shit. Like, oh my god. Like, should we just leave? Like, do you think this is like a sundown town? Like, and like one of them's like, well, I looked it up before we came. Like, it doesn't say that it is. Like, and they're all just like, what the fuck? And like, mind you, like, they're only like a month into like their trip. Like, they still have like a couple months left. Like, July and August. And they're like, fuck. Because I think they might be taking gap year. I don't know. But no, most schools don't stop until like September or whatever. They're not taking a gap year. They're not. Some of them aren't in college, anyways. But like, I don't dislike college. I just think some of them are not in college for representation. Anyway, but yeah. So they're like, what the fuck? Like, should we leave? Like, what? Like, there's other beaches. Like, this is fucking insane. And then like, and then one of them was like, yeah, bro. I was like, yeah. I mean, shit. Like, whenever I went to the gas station the other day to get us like Gatorades, there was this guy in there, and he just fucking looked at me, bro. And like, he looked so fucking mad. It was fucking insane. And they're like driving now. Like, they're not in this. Like, they're not just like walking. Like, they got back in their car, they're driving away back to like their Airbnb. And then the girl stopped talking. Bro, I just have a badass fucking feeling in my stomach. Like, I think that, like, something about us going back to the Airbnb just feels wrong. Like, maybe we should just leave. And then another person's like, bro, that fucking sucks. Like, that fucking sucks. Like, and they all just are quiet for a moment. And then one of the guys is like, we shouldn't let these people take away our experience. Like, I don't know, guys, but like, me and Tom we can look out for you. And Tom's like, that's what I think. and then like the people who are less of like protectors and more of like healers, listeners in the group, they're like, I I I think we should. I think, you know, we've seen so many horror movies that this would be such a fucked up way to go out. Whenever we kind of know better, like these people are fucking insane. Like, and I agree with like Samantha. Like, I saw someone at the beach the other day. They just fucking looked at me and then they just like carved a pentagram into their chest. And I was like, bro, am I just like too high? But like now I think that that shit was real. Like dead ass. So we should definitely, like, I would be fine with like leaving all of my belongings in this place actually and just like leaving right now. So that's my vote. Like, oh my god. And then the other people are like, yeah. Yeah, no, I'd actually be so fine with like not having anything and just like getting the fuck out of Dodge. And then I'm like, okay, we're gonna go get our stuff. We're not gonna leave our belongings. I mean, your teddy bear is there and you've had that for your whole fucking life, so we're not leaving that, okay? Shit. And then like Dimitri, Tom, and Jack. Okay, those are like the like. Okay. They're like, okay. Me and Dimitri will go inside. Jack is like, me and Dimitri will go inside. We'll get all our stuff. We'll bring it back out here. While Tom stays out with y'all, okay? He's gonna stay behind the wheel. And if anything goes sideways, bro, it was so cool being around. Love y'all the mostest, but don't fucking get caught up just because you're trying to save me and the whole time like gurgling on blood. Like it was pointless. Like just get the fuck out. Like I'm telling y'all, okay? And they're like, and everybody's like, bro, like it's sinking in. Like, like this is fucking insane. Like, and then this, like the pentagram on the chest is crazy. Anyway, but yeah, so then they pull up to the Airbnb and Samantha's like, okay, I'm gonna cancel this so we can get like some of our money back, because they booked this Airbnb for like the entire summer. So she's like, okay, and so she tries to, but Airbnb's like, she like put in a reason and she like texted the host and she was like, yeah, I think that this is a sundown town, like, I just like hope that you can understand. And the host is like black, so like they like get it, and so they're like, oh my god, like, yeah, I thought it was weird, like me and my husband were just like buying a bunch of houses in random ass places and like making Airbnbs, like I am so fucking sorry, like holy shit, like what happened? And so Samantha's like, yeah, cool, I can tell you what happened, but just could we get a refund that we can like buy a different Airbnb and like go the fuck somewhere else? She doesn't say the fuck somewhere else, but like she's like somewhere else. And the person's like, oh my god, yeah, of course. So she tries to give her a refund. Like 10 grand. Like 10 grand. Tries to get her a refund. Airbnb texts the owner of the Airbnb and says, if you give this person a refund, we are killing you. And the woman, and it shoots the woman, like we go to the woman and we see her experience right now, and she's like, what the fuck, thinking that someone just like hacked her phone. So she calls Airbnb and she's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what do you mean, like, what do you mean this wasn't a hack? Like, who was it then? Like, one of your employers? And they're like, no, it was fucking serious, are you dumb? And she's like, so yeah, and then they don't get their refund. So like, fuck. Fuck, like, you know what I mean? Damn, that fucking sucks. So the boys get back safe, thankfully, and they're like, okay, so we can't get a refund, so that's not fucking great. But one of them is like college basketball, like pro. One of the people with them in their group. So she's like, okay, let me just pay for it. They had all pitched in for this for like years. Like they've known each other for like since they were like 16. Okay, and they're like 20, mid-20s now. She's like, okay, let me just cover this. I get like a loan or some shit. And I was like, oh my god, bro. And so they all agreed to like take out like some like loans or whatever, and then they like, because they're like, we're not gonna, and then they're just like, you could always go viral, like we could go viral any second and pay all this shit off. So like, yeah, for sure. I mean, I bet if we, it's been like, I bet if we did a story time, I bet it would probably go viral as fuck. And then Maria Hum, she's like, that's tea. But yeah, and so they get out of the town. Someone starts following them, like chasing them with like an axe or a hammer, or chasing them with something, and they're like screaming, like it's like a grown man and he's just screaming and he's like chasing their car. And he had came out the back door of their Airbnb, and he was like, and Jack is like, oh my fuck, bro, I thought I heard something, but I just thought that shit was Tom, bro. Oh my god, that. And he's like, he just keeps driving, like driving safely, but like driving, but like the guy chasing them didn't have a gun, so he's just like, okay, well, we can't fucking catch up to a car, like we're just gonna eventually we'll be on the highway, all this stuff. They get pulled over because, and the reason for it is because they didn't stop for a police officer. And Jack is like, what police officer are you fucking talking about? And the cop was like, he's our most senior member. You have to fucking stop for him. Are you new around here? And Jack is like, we're trying to be leaving around here, so can you write my ticket? The yelling belligerent guy makes it to the car, and they're like, and he's like just getting closer and closer in the rearview mirror, and Jack's like tapping his fingers, like fuck. And then the officer comes back with a ticket, and she's like, and she's handing it to Jack, and she's like, yeah, he's a big fucking deal around here, okay? Big fucking deal. He doesn't get in trouble at all. That's how big deal he is. And she just talks about how she's hoping to be like him one day. And then they're like, okay, cool. And Jack starts driving off. Whenever she says like, okay, well, you're free to go, but just make sure next time you stop for him. And they're like, oh my god. And so they keep driving, and in the rear view mirror, this cop gets fucking bludgeoned by this crazy ass man. Like, isn't that crazy? Isn't that fucking insane? And they're all like, at this point, me personally, if I was in the situation, there would be tears streaming down my face. But I like, the fear that this would induce is mind-bending. Like, I can't even comprehend it. Like, anyway, So they get to the highway. It's still that darker thing too. Like nothing's really that vibrant, but it's like the blues are really vibrant in the movie. And I think that'd be cool because like it could be like a thing to like tying back to blues music, like how it's like in like resistance through like song. They get to driving and they end up in my gosh, like what would it be? Like where is a beach that's not like, because all beaches are kind of in the south, huh? I guess like a beach in like New Mexico. New Mexico doesn't have beaches, it's landlocked. They could drive. Where could they drive, chat? They, well, they're in like, they could drive to, the, is it, my, there's a silver lining, Road Ranger riding through an open space. In my mind, when she's not right there beside me, I go crazy, cause here is where I wanna be. And satisfaction, it feels like a distant memory. And I can't help myself, oh, all I wanna say is, are you mine? Alright. Moving mysterious ways. So in case I wanna hear you say she's a silver lining, no ranger riding through an open space. In my mind when she's not right there beside me. Alright. One of the youngest friends could be 18. She could be going into her senior year, and then the oldest ones could be like 22, 23. Okay? Keep that in mind. Store that in your mind for later. So she's like going into her senior year. They get to another beach town. This one's supposed to be like more liberal, more safe. But spoiler alert, it's where that cop who just randomly shot that guy lives. So they get there, they feel like they're being followed and they start to go crazy, but like not like just like in the fact that like naturally like that shit would be insane to experience. Like their bodies just start to like react, so like some of them can't sleep, like they like start having like these like really deep eye bags, and then Samantha's like, bro, I feel like we're being fucking followed, and she's just like constantly shaking all the time now. And like they try to go out to the beach, they try to, you know, like relax or whatever, but like it just ends up like the next 2 months they just end up like literally like hair just like dried, sucked of all of its moisture, like skin cracked, bruises like from like their like lack of sleep, like like they're stinky because like they haven't been showering, they've just been turned into zombies basically. Like just the fear has immobilized their ability to fluidize their feelings, so like their fascia is like becoming crystallized. Like it's fucking insane. So they are like August like 23rd, they're like, well, it's time to go home. They go home. Okay, now we start following the girl who was and we see like the police officer following them, and like at first like they're like, who, like that shit was fucking insane, like probably just like a cult ass town, and they like enjoy diners and going to the movies and just like regular like vacation stuff, like going to like the beach, you know, like going to like a theme park, like having a lot of fun. And I feel like maybe this would be better as a series. But then they like the fear starts to overtake them because they're like, they just feel like someone's always watching them, because there is someone always watching them. It's the cop. But he never talks to them, he just watches them. Like, he actually quits his job. Like, he quits his job, he makes his wife start on OnlyFans, and he just starts watching these group of teens and young adults. When they get home, they disperse. People go back to college. People who don't live there just go back to their hometowns, or people go back to where they live. Like, you know what I mean? And the girl in high school still, like the ages are like, okay, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Like they're all kind of like a year apart almost, but some of them are like the same year, but some, like, she's the only 18-year-old. Because she was a freshman, like whenever like some of them became friends with her. Anyway, she goes back to school, and that feeling inside of her, so maybe her symptoms were like she just kind of like slept all the time. Like, her body was just like sleeping, trying to counteract the way that her brain was just constantly on edge. She goes to school, and we see her flowing into this rhythm of just like natural school. Like, nothing eventful happens at school. She just goes to her classes, but we spend a lot of time watching her as she goes to school, talks with her friends, eats lunch, writes graffiti on the bathroom stall, skips class sometimes to smoke weed, goes to like a party, goes to sleep, and then the same thing over and over again. Like, literally, I shit you not, like maybe even like a whole season, just like that. Like, her like just going to high school, but like nothing happens, bro. Like, nothing happens. Like, she like no, like there's no sort, like she's literally just going to high school. You can still see the signs of stress from what happened in that summer, like trickling out of her body, but eventually she flows back into that rhythm. Like, we walk, like she up until for a couple months, up until they have their first lockdown drill of the year, she sees someone in the reflection. She sees the guy that was carving a pentagram on his chest, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, and so like all of her symptoms just come back so much stronger, and she's like, bro, what the fuck, what the fuck. And but like eventually, like with her friends and with like, you know, like talking it through, and her friends being like, yeah, that's fucking insane, like that's really scary, like you're fucking valid in your feelings, like that's insane, like. And then like maybe like they go to like this like community garden or something, and they like she like just like grounds herself a lot. Then we get closer to her graduation, and as we get closer, nothing particularly changes, but the way that the pacing is set up, the way that the music is, the way that the sound is, the way that she is, it just gets a little tense, just enough to make the viewer feel it, but not enough to be like there's to see a reason why there's more tension than what has been happening. Then whenever she graduates, she like we have this scene where she's going, and she's native, where she's going to like her graduation, like high school graduation thing. Like she has like on her cap and gown, but we don't see her actually graduate. We just see the outside of the building from the view of her car, as if we were a passenger. We see her graduating, or as if we were the driver. We see her graduating through like the window of her car. Like we don't see her graduating, but we see her like hugging her parents with like her like thingy, like the robe and like the thing, like the sash. And she's like hugging her parents, and then we hear their conversation. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we are so proud of you," like da da da, and she's like, "Yeah, like yeah, yeah." And then we hear her footsteps walk to the car and get closer and closer and louder until it's like almost like too loud. And then she opens the door, and then whenever she slams it, it becomes quiet again. Normal. Not quiet, normal. And she turns on her car. We see her turn on the ignition, like this shot specifically. And all we can hear is the air conditioner humming through her vents and her shallow breaths. And a tear streams down her face, and she's like, "I did it." She starts her drive home, and on the way there, it's getting a little bit late into the day, but it's not completely dark yet. She sees this open field, an open meadow. Maybe there's animals there, maybe there's not. She swerves, but if there would be, it would be horses. It would be horses. Yeah, there's horses, but also flowers, maybe. But enclosed, like they're owned by someone else. And she starts to swerve into oncoming traffic because she's looking at these horses. And as she's looking at these horses, we hear powwow drums like dum 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 dum. And then she looks on the oncoming traffic because something like the drums just stop. And she looks on the oncoming traffic and she's like, "Oh, fuck!" And she like swerves back, and like her heart is beating so fast, and we hear the drums like beating like as fast as her heartbeat, like like loud again, like. But like her heartbeat would be like, hold on. Okay, and then it just turns like erratic. We see her face as these like erratic beats are happening, and like as she's like and then she blinks for like a minute, and then it shows her in her bed opening her eyes, and she's in a dorm room now. And she stands up, and I've talked about this on my TikTok too, this specific event, like kind of just like a plot point, I guess. She starts doing her makeup. Her dorm room is empty on the other side. It's just like those like blue mattresses, but like no sheets. She starts to like put on her makeup, like putting like doing it neatly, but just like not fucking there. And she like zips up her dress, but while she's getting ready, like between like a brush stroke, it's like you just cut to her like howling, bro, like the night before, like just like and it's like overlapped with the sound of a bear's roar, and it's just her sobbing on her floor, and like we like see, and then it just like cuts between each step, sobbing like a bear between each step. No, but for real, like primal fucking aching, like to the fucking bone, like just like hands and knees on the floor, like like an exorcism almost. Like it's just like she's just like ex what is the word that starts with E? Um ex expelling. She's expelling something. But like it's just so guttural and intense. And like her eyes are like sunken in a little bit because like she literally spent all like almost all night until she like passed out. And like eventually we see her where she like crawled up on her bed and like just like passes out. Then she finishes getting ready, like howling like sobs, and it's like and it is also like background layered with like a bear's like howling. And then whenever she calms down, it's like it turns into like a bear like cooing like ooh. Like a bear like cooing, just like talking their shit like a regular everyday bear, rather than it being like, you feel me? Like as she's like coming down off of like her like panic attack basically. Her panic realization. Then it cuts to her feet on the pavement walking towards like a Harvard-esque like trees, and they're all beautiful, and the color comes back too. They're fall and all that shit. And she's graduating early, and or something like that, because she's graduating in fall. And we just see like her black like chunky heels just like only like from her calf to like the concrete, and we just see her like walking, and like her steps like reflect how she feels too. She's not just like walking, she's like pulling herself, but like it's like still like masked as if like she's like fine, but like to comply with social norms, but like inside like you can see it in every step, like just like the feeling that cannot be hidden with makeup and heels and lies of perceived okayness. And then her heels, and then it's flip. So like she's like walking up. We see the thing, and then we like zoom down to the ground, and then we go to her heels walking. Okay, but we don't see her full figure like walking that way. We see like the area that she's walking in, and then we hear her coming, and then the camera pans down, squishes into just like that calf to heel ratio, and we follow her walking for just a little bit, and then it transitions. It transitions to her walking across the wooden stage, and then we see her again. We see her full, and we see her like in front of the podium, like accepting her diploma, and waving out to like the crowd, who claps like really weird. They clap like this, like but whenever they're not clapping like that and being scary, she sees her parents and her friends, and they're like waving and stuff like that, and one of her friends doesn't clap like that. Is it gonna be the one who's in the NBA? Is okay. One of her friends doesn't clap like that, and nobody seems to care. But like they just like make this eye contact of like terrified, bro. And then it shows like the crowd, and it zooms out, and it keeps zooming out like as it zooms into her face, as she stares out into it, zooms into her face while at the same time zooming out into the crowd, and there's just like armed to the teeth like a row of men in the back, but they're all in the suit and tie. Then she walks off. The end. Now, in the beginning, it's going to be a woman that we don't know, but after watching the whole show, you'll realize that it is the girl who, the 18-year-old from the friend group. And her basketball friend is gonna be the one she finds in the woods. Like, who, like she's gonna see, like, her in her jersey. Because, and it's gonna be, like, all over, like, the news. Like, maybe it's, like, in, like, the news in the background on, like, a TV or some shit. And it's, like, 27-year-old regional, NBA star Sam Melendez runs off the court and is never seen again. Still looking for her to this day. Her family mourns the loss. 2 years later, this is the anniversary of her death. Or her perceived death, I guess. Because her family buried an empty casket, all that shit. So, clock is ticking. And this woman's just staring at her psychiatry patient. And she's like, and the patient is like, yeah, I really don't like my job, and it's just all too much. Like, do you ever get this feeling that, like, you want to be free? But, like, death in Texas, you know what I mean? And she just looks at this woman, she's like this. We just hear the clock, like, just looks beside her. It's a couch cushion. Maybe does like that with her, like, face, I don't know. Depending on what the actor feels. But just basically, like, that kind of emotion, I guess. Like, then she looks back to the woman. And she just screams. She starts screaming at her. Just like sat perfectly still, just that type of beat. And then she gets up and runs out of her office. She shoulder checks the guard who is outside of her office, and then she runs down the hallway, taking off her heels, like, really quick, and just, like, throwing them. This would be so fucking cool. Oh my god. But okay, anyway, like, even just, like, talking about it, like, the fact that this is, like, gonna be put on the internet, like, I just think that that's very cool. Like, a very cool is, like, thing to think. Like, if you're, like, into, like, that, like, these kind of movies, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's art. It's important. Because it's, like, and it's kind of interesting the way that this would be. Okay, hold on. So, okay, so at the graduation scene, it just eventually goes black. Like, it just, like, it, like, they're switching back and forth the angles, like, zooming in on her face, zooming out to see, like, the guards and stuff, and then eventually just goes black. And then that's, like, the end. Like the credits roll, all that stuff. It shows you different shows that are like this, and then you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, and then, but yeah, okay, back to her running out of her office. There's 2 guards. One of the guards is black. The other one is, I don't know, a guard. One of the guards is black, and he looks back, and he sees her running through the hallway, and he doesn't, like, completely move out of the way, but he, like, moves out of the way enough to where she can just, like, shoulder check him instead of running into his entire body. But the other guard like didn't even like notice. He was too busy looking at a random person on the street. At a child experiencing joy, maybe. I don't know. There's something like random, like really looking at it. And then he's like, but he doesn't look happy. He doesn't look peaceful. He doesn't look safe. He looks scary, but he's just looking at something random. And then the black officer moves out of the way. He doesn't look scary. He actually looks kind of resembling the way that her MBA friend was looking at her, like that feeling of like connection, like primalistic, like you know, I'm rooting for you. But it's just sad, I guess, but because it's like anyway, because it's like, but yeah, maybe there's like a spinoff and he like helps her cause. Okay, all right, I can get on board with that, and like, because eventually, spoiler alert, but the world gets better in this series. It's just, you know, this there's like a specific story here, and then there's a specific story with like the changing and then like the dramatics and like the but some of the scariest shit happens in silence. It happens in that silence. It happens in that mundane doing tasks and showing up to work and going to school. That is scary. That is the scariest part of it all. So I feel like it should have its own like 3 seasons. So that and then we can talk about the garden in a second. She runs down the street and then we just see like all the like she's like running, like we see her full body now running, like no feet, just watching her feet, or no, we see her entire body, like her dress like flowing, and she's just running like as fast as fuck. Like she is a fast one because she's trying to run for her life. She runs and runs and runs, and like we just like see like all these guards just like rushing after her like zombies, bro. But they're like all in like suit and ties. Like I feel like it's an important part. Them being in suit and ties, are all just like running after her. And she's just like running. And some of the suits and ties are black to give it more like ops. You know what I mean? Like Call of Duty, like, you know what I mean? But like some of them are just like in like a yellow suit and tie. You know what I mean? They're all running after her. Now, like the street just like steadily trickles with them as we watch her run from her office, like from out of her office to the edge of the city. And there would have to be CGI for her feet because that's not really that safe for her to be running barefoot for like that long of like a distance on concrete specifically. So yeah, so maybe she's wearing flats. I don't know. She should be wearing flats. That would just make more sense, because I don't want it to be I don't know. She's wearing flats. But then again, like that's not great either. I don't know what to do about that. Because I wouldn't want to fucking run however many miles it takes on concrete. But I think that there's a way that could like look the way that it needs to look without it putting someone's physical health in danger. Okay, she gets to the edge of the city and it's a forest. It's like the city and then it's like the forest. Like it's like a straight line. Like you know the United States and Canada border where it's just like a thin, like it's just like trees that aren't allowed to continue to grow in like a thick strip. It's basically like that. And Share my stuff. She steps one foot into the forest, and everything is vibrant, like again, like vibrant as it was whenever they were first about to leave for the road trip. She runs through the forest, and we see the trees in her eyes, in the reflection of her eyes. Like, we zoom in close, we see the trees in the reflection of her eyes, and she's looking around, and she just like exhales, and then she looks back, and all of these people with suits, like, they all stop, terrified, like fucking shitting their pants, so fucking scared. Like, some of them, like, maybe some of them even like pee their pants, like some of them, like, I don't know, like genuinely like fear of death, like terrified. And I'm not talking about comical, I'm specifically thinking about the scene in The Handmaid's Tale whenever they thought they were going to die by hanging, and one of the women literally peed herself. And I just think that was really reverent, because, you know, someone can scream and cry and da-da-da in a film, but it's like, in all actuality, people were throwing up. People were pissing themselves because they were, it is terrifying to feel like you are going to die. Anyway, they all stop, none of them go in there. And she just like she just like walks through the forest, and then she just like stops on this like patch of like soft grass, and she just drops to her ass, and she just like falls onto the grass, and she just like let her intuition guide her, and she just like stretches into the grass as if she's like comfy and like getting ready to sleep, and she just like lays and like looks, like we see her just like getting comfy, and then we just see like her look up, and then we the audience get to see the bright green canopy of trees, and the birds chirping and flying freely, and cut to black. And that's episode 1 of season 1. And then we go to episode 2, which starts at the cop scene of the two partners, who one of them, he's like, I want you. Yeah, that's gonna be episode 2. But yeah, that's in episode 1, and at the end of episode 1 is it goes black, and then it says, and then black screen, I wanna be free, free as the birds singing in the tree, free as the grass swinging in the breeze. I wanna know what it feels to live without money. This shit ain't real, can't you see? Silent for the credits after that. Or maybe it just plays bird song, like soft, like tweeting, like like soft, like birds singing and stuff, as if like you're in like a forest, and making it like surround sound. That'd be cool, so you like feel like you're actually there. The cop who let her get free, he tries to build permaculture gardens everywhere, big enough for the entire towns to eat. He tries to support that, he tries to do that, but it ends up being so dangerous that it ends up moving more like like Cross, like that show. It ends up moving more like that, and he like has to go rogue and from like the system in order to help take down the system to heal the people. Oh, that's so beautiful. The show that with like the friends and stuff like that. Reverent, like I feel like I think that that's cool. Like it's cool to feel that. To a lot of people try to kill the black cop who moves out of her way, and um like as he like works on like trying to like you know he like gets like some celebrities to like help like you know buy up land that way people can just like um make their own like villages. Oh my god, a lot of people try to kill him for doing that shit, but in the end and people that you wouldn't think like a tax comp, well I guess you'd assume that, but Burger King, bro, Burger King comes for his ass harder than anyone else. And I'm so serious, like, and I just thought that was a little funny. Um but yeah. Um and but in the end of that series, he ends up getting it to where it needs to be. And everyone like there's like everyone's living in villages and talking to each other, and when people clap it's for real and people are actually happy, and it just like and that entire show like vibrant as fuck, like just like the way that like you would normally see color, and sometimes even like probably a little bit more, but not to the point where it's like, remember that trend when it was like, no teen of shade, but like whenever in like 2020 whenever things were like super over like saturated, none of that. I don't want it to feel like a fever dream. It just feels like really real, like tangible, like the way that you're seeing me right now. Just like vibrant, but like not like too much to where it doesn't look real. Like I don't want it to look any parts of an acid trip. Um, but I do think it'd be cool like do something with an acid trip. Like no tea, no shade to acid. Like I have no beef with her. But don't do street drugs. Because they could have fentanyl in them and you could die. Anyway, but yeah, eventually, yeah. And then yeah, to where and like people like he like people all over like the world like help him, and like everything just heals. Like I don't exactly know how all that would be, how that show would be, but that would be basically the basis. Like at the end of it, nobody pays for anything because they don't need to. They can just walk to um the garden, to like the local garden, and they can like get water from there. Well, there's no such thing as taxes or police or people just protect their people from people who want to kill other people, and pedophiles and shit like that. Like just everyday humans just protect people from that instead of the police. Because they're such tight knit, like they just like get to know each other in the villages, and there's like some people like, and like people can still do shit for fun. Like people still do shit for fun. Like there's like maybe like I'm thinking about like an older lady, and she just like bakes bread for all her like she calls everyone her baby, and He's very sweet. And people just like go pick up like, Samuel, go get some bread from Melina. And Sam was like, okay, mother. And then he gets his bike, and he like rides down the way, and like his like sister's like standing on the top, like holding his shoulders, like standing on like the things that like jet out the wheels, and she's just like, the air just like flowing through her hair. And then they go, and then they like get bread, and then they like talk about knitting, and the kids are like, can you please teach us how to knit? And she's like, of course, tomorrow it's getting a little bit late, it'll be chilly, go ahead and go home. And so they go home, they bring bread, and the parents actually love each other lots, and it's just warm. And then like some like teenagers from the village like come over, and they're like, are y'all still having dinner? And then the one of the teens from the family with the kids who went to get bread, they're like, oh my gosh, like that's their friend. And then they have dinner, and like they hang out, and they have s'mores afterwards. And yeah, and then everywhere on earth it's just like that, like tight-knit communities, protecting each other, helping each other, feeding each other, not having to pay a cent of money because it doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, he had to go through a lot of shit to get there though. Burger King, fuck y'all. I'm just playing. Well, y'all are on the boycott list, but like y'all didn't actually. Well, I actually don't know. Y'all could have like a whole ass deep state situation. Like maybe I'm just filling into something there. Okay, anyway. Also, people don't go inside of Burger Kings because inside of fast food restaurants are sad as fuck. Like, I saw this ad where the CEO of Burger King was like, what can we do to make it better? Like, and he was like asking people like what to do to make it better. And it's like, well, girl, one, find a way to get off of the boycott list. Like, support Palestine, and that'll probably help your sales or something if you actually gave a care instead of seeing that one of your regional is that what it's called, regional things were like giving out free burgers to Nazis. I think that would really help you out there. But I also think and also to like just like donating money to organizations that help feed people in Sudan, people in Palestine. Speaking out about child labor in Congo, funded by tech companies and shadow governments, all because they want other people to mine their coltan and cobalt. Speaking out about how companies like Duracell talk about how they're assembled or made in America, but there are children that have to pick minerals inside of collapsing mines, like mines that collapse all the time, for said battery that was assembled here, yes, but was made through slavery. To talk about how real diamonds, real gold, like all that stuff, like pretty much all minerals like are taken in really horrifying ways. Because in reality, and I guess that kind of makes sense because of the energy transfer, like there's no reason to be taking stuff out of the earth. It's the very action of taking something energetically is just never going to really make sense. And but what I mean by that is The foundation of America was built on colonization and genocide. Genocide of Native people, genocide of Black people. And so therefore the foundation is always going to be rotten. There's no such thing as making America great again, and there's no such thing as a world where politics make sense of anything. Because as long as there's something that you have to pay um, to live in your house every single year, like property taxes, or as long as there's something that you have to worship with your time and money that is not the earth itself, which you don't have to worship with money or time, just by existing and being kind to yourself. That's how you worship yourself, because you are the earth. Anyway, is not. It's demonic in the sense of the scary term. You know what I mean? In the sense of the lie, the trick. But yeah. It's evil to yourself, I guess. So yeah, so that's how I feel about that. Like, I feel like if, like, the very reason why people take minerals out of the earth is because, like, the gold rush, like, people were trying to make a bunch of money so they could, like, make it out west, or, but, like, it wasn't theirs to make it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, diamonds, emeralds, like stuff like that, like mined for jewelry. But it's like, you know, there are rocks at ponds that you can just like pick up and be like, I thought, but it's just like, I don't know, leave the rock there, I guess. I don't know. But basically, what I'm just trying to say is like, the action of taking something out of where it lives and cutting it down into something that you want it to be is always going to have bad bones. It's not going to be a very stable house. So, yeah. Shout out to Plastoline guy. There's this guy who makes gasoline out of plastic, and it actually works. Like, he like was like going on this tour last time I checked, and he was like putting it into like an empty Mustang and like showing that it didn't start, and then it like ran on like gas plastoline diesel. There's plastoline diesel. There's plastoline regular. Shouts out to him for real. That would be very, very cool if they if the government put all the money that they spend on manufacturing wars over oil, or with the cloaked reason of wanting oil, if they put all those efforts into collecting all the plastic from the ocean and making it into plastiline, that would be pretty cool. That would probably be cleaned up pretty quick. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks for sitting with me. I liked talking about these things. I've been wanting to make a YouTube video that I'm gonna post, but I just haven't. I don't know. I guess yeah, cause yeah, for sure.